Prosperity is more than a number. It's the power to shape what's possible for you, your family, and your heirs. Here, you'll find ideas for building wealth, safeguarding it, and translating it into true prosperity with insight from actual business owners and financial professionals. Welcome to the FDP Prosperity Report, hosted by your Chief Prosperity Officer, Mark Chandik.
Welcome to another episode of the FDP Prosperity Report. I'm your host, Mark Chandik. Today's topic is an investment that seems to alternate between making people confident and nervous. It's real estate. Your own sentiment may vary depending on what type it is, when you bought it, and what the market is doing. We'll talk about both residential and commercial, what makes the Southern California market different, what's happening with inventory, and some insight on real estate deals that most people aren't even aware of. To help bring some sense to all this, today we have a double header, two guests, Suzi Dailey and Andrew Morrow. Suzi Dailey is the founder of Dailey by the Sea, a coastal boutique luxury real estate firm with over $1 billion in sales. She has served high-profile clientele from all over the world, including Brazil, China, Dubai, England, India, and Sweden. You'll see her quoted in magazines such as Oprah, Women's Day, and Reader's Digest. Andrew Morrow has a 20-year track record helping business owners and tenants rent and acquire real estate assets. He is currently Executive Managing Director at Cushman and Wakefield, where he specializes in corporate tenants that have supply chain and operations across Southern California and the Western United States. But before I say hello, I want in full disclosure to tell you that they both have helped me acquire real estate, and I have been very happy with the outcome. Suzi, Andrew, welcome to the Prosperity Report. So all clients are asking the same question right now. They're coming to you for advice, and rents are at all-time highs, values are at all-time highs. Should they wait it out until prices drop, or should they jump in and buy now?
Well, if you think about it, okay, we have inflation, right? So the Fed is going to continue raising interest rates until we get inflation under control. That's okay. It's happened cyclically over time. I've been reading some history books. Even back in 1907, we had inflation, we had war. In the early 1900s, we get through it. But if the Fed is going to continue raising interest rates, then you would be better off buying now, today, because next month, and then maybe again 3 months from now, they are going to continue raising interest rates. So you are better off to buy now before they raise it another 0.5% or 1.5% in the next upcoming months. In a few years, I'm sure they'll correct it back down again. We were at 5% in 2018. We're there now again, plus a little higher, but that's okay. It will correct, but it would be better to buy now than to wait and buy at 7 or 8%.
What do you think? How do interest rates impact the decisions for your clients?
On the tenant side, it's not as critical. I think on the buy side, it obviously factors into the equation. The Southern California industrial market has become so institutionalized, it's very difficult for business owners and tenants to acquire real estate over a certain size. We do see it affecting landlords' perception of where the market's headed. And the annual increases that have been driving higher and higher, that were 3% last year, became 4%, now pushing to 5%. I think that dynamic will slow, which I think will help tenants. But we don't anticipate the leasing market really slowing down at all. So the question of timing, if you can hit your lease at the right time, if it happens to be rolling at the right time, you might get lucky. But we're advising most clients to wait and see how the next 3 months play out. And then I think we'll have some more clarity on where the market's going.
Well, I think someone told me a long time ago they're not building any more Southern California real estate. Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is drive up the 405 and see that there's less and less space available. Mm-hmm. So if you want your piece, you better right. Get into it. I'm going to shift gears a little bit about the process of purchasing real estate. And I think it's, for most people, it's the most stressful thing they've ever done financially, maybe the biggest number they've ever dealt with. First, in the residential side, what are some of the things that people should look out for? What minimize the surprises and the upset in the purchase or sales process?
I think, everyone is different and they have their areas of concern. But I think one area that causes people a lot of stress is speculation. They speculate about the person on the other side of the transaction. Oh, the buyer is this. Oh, the seller is that. And I tell people, try to just keep that speculation meter in check. Just focus on the goal, because often the speculation is completely off base. Secondly, it's very important to work with a good agent like Andrew, because contractually, you want to make sure your agent is very knowledgeable and protect you. There are so many little loopholes in the contract. It's almost like mini hurdles or mini negotiations that if you aren't aware of those, you can be really caught off guard and you can be harmed in the transaction if the agent isn't aware of that and protecting you. So those are areas that I think people need to think about.
So a lot of your time is spent minimizing legal potential issues that come up.
100%.
How about in your world, Andrew, in the commercial market?
Well, I think you said it well, Suzi. I think having a fiduciary, having a representative that's looking out for your best interests is important, both on the contract side, but also in the market. Missing, a penny on a deal is significant. And I think having someone that, like you said, knows the market, that has experience, but is also very focused on the business drivers and the needs of the company to meet the goals of the organization is pretty critical.
Okay. Now, because we're in this very unique period, rising rates, full employment, it's really an amazing period of time when you think about it. What do you see happening, 12 months from now, 18 months from now in your world in general? You have your crystal ball. It may not be completely clear, but we'd like to see maybe what you're seeing. We'll start with you this time, Andrew. What are you seeing 12 and 18 months out in the future?
Well, on the vein of industrial and on the tenant side where I focus, we're seeing a phenomenon of development pushing out to tertiary markets that we never saw development happen before, like the High Desert, Victorville, Hesperia, Shafter, Central Valley. A lot of our clients who have to be in Southern California because of their consumers and their customers and the proximity of the ports still need to be here, but they can't absorb the doubling and the tripling of their lease rates. So despite real estate being a small component of their actual entire operation, it still moves the needle. So what we're starting to see is a lot of companies and business owners make that tough decision on, do I stay here in California? Do we look at other markets on the West Coast, including Phoenix, Las Vegas, Reno? We're doing work in Dallas and Houston more than we have in the past. I think Mexico is going to be a beneficiary of a lot of the onshoring and manufacturing demand. So I think we're going to continue to see the market push out. As you said, there's very little space now. The Ontario Inland Empire is an infill market now because there's very limited availability, limited development. It's getting constrained more by state legislation. So I think we're going to see mom and pops continue to shrink or get consolidated because of the cost to operate here. And I think we're going to continue to see the big brand names and the mid-cap and up larger companies continue to expand.
Okay. How about you, Suzi? But what's your crystal ball say?
Well, back to, I think that Southern California is almost in a most favored nation status, meaning that we are limited with land. We can't expand out into the ocean. And as Andrew said, the other choice is you go into the desert or into the hotter climates. So the people that move here, the homeowners that live here, I think they have done well. They're here by choice. And I think that the community is going to continue to remain relatively strong because of that. Employers also want to attract employees, and employees like working in a beautiful area like Southern California. Doctors do, high-tech people do. So we'll continue to have strength in that. But yes, it is very expensive for a first-time home buyer. Being along the coast in Southern California is difficult, but it's also a benefit to those who are successful, and there are people that are wealth advantaged in the Southern California area, and that's why they choose to live here. It's a beautiful area, and there is strength in the market compared to the rest of the country.
It's interesting. Southern California is a unique marketplace for sure. I know my own experience with clients. I've seen more clients plan to leave California.
Mhm.
They might buy, let's say, a piece of real estate in a neighboring state, kind of put a foothold in, see if they like it.
Mhm.
But they don't sell here because they know they probably can't afford to come back,
Right.
whether it be in a commercial real estate or residential.
Right.
Are you seeing that kind of a foot in both camps with your clients?
I've actually seen people depart and come back because maybe for tax reasons they decided they were going to try another state, but once they experienced the weather or just the realities of living in that state, they've decided it's just not worth it and they want to come back to California.
What about you, Andrew?
Yeah,
You had that happen?
I think the same. We're seeing a little bit more of a hybrid approach. I think because of the costs here, it's everything. It's not just real estate. It's labor. It's, the tax environment here. It's the freight costs, transportation costs, fuel costs. It's all impacting everybody. And we're seeing a lot of companies analyze shrinking their footprint here, and we're helping them figure out what that right size is, and then putting that demand elsewhere, either to third-party 3PL logistics partners or moving that demand to other parts of the country where the real estate costs are much cheaper. So I think we're going to continue to see a hybrid approach. I think we'll continue to see last mile delivery really lead a lot of these infill markets where you're not doing large, over 100,000 square foot warehouses, but smaller to get to the customer base quicker. So it's a very dynamic market right now, and I think the costs here are really accelerating it.
Well, I think we hit the high points today, but I'd like you to give you an opportunity, each of you, if I haven't touched on a subject or a point that you'd like to make, let's do it now. Anything come to mind, Suzi?
Well, I think that what astounds me every day about Southern California is the physical beauty here and how many people we attract from all over the world. I meet people every day from all over, countries all over, and they are trying to get here, trying to move here, trying to immigrate here. It shows truly what a great country we have and also what a great community this is, that people want to come here. They want to live here. They're not racing to leave here. They want to come here. And it's been such a privilege, really, to get to work with people. This morning, I'm dealing with people from Ireland and Spain and the Netherlands. I mean, this morning. And it's fantastic. We are so fortunate here to have such a melting pot of wonderful people from all over who really love and appreciate it. So I think Southern California real estate is remarkable.
Well said. Andrew, your thoughts?
Well, I think the link between residential, we obviously deal in industrial, and there's a direct correlation between retail and office and where people work, but where people live and what Suzi's talking about, I think is critical. And labor is such an important component of a lot of companies' decisions, right? And we're seeing relocations of large organizations into California, not just out. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people and the talent that resides here, and I think that's going to continue.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Suzi Dailey. Thank you, Andrew Morrow, for your time and expertise. Very much appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.
And that's all the time we have. I'm Mark Chandik, and this is the Prosperity Report. Thank you for tuning in to the Prosperity Report. If you enjoyed the episode, I want to offer you a free download of my latest book, 10 Financial Strategies for the Smart Investor. It's a candid view of where we go wrong with money and how to get back on track. In it, you'll discover how to avoid common mistakes and build lasting wealth. To get your free copy, first click the subscribe button you see on your screen. Then find the link in the show description below and click on that. Soon you'll be on the way to turning all your possibilities into true reality.